Okay, so today we'll be doing a sliding cockpit tutorial, like shown here on my P35 Seversky. It's fun for role plays and stuff because you can bail out if it's, say, I've been shot at or something. Pull the canopy back, jump out, and then equip parachute. And then you could watch your plane fly away. And then your parachute would glitch. It's pretty simple. It's basically a piston attached to a suspension. If I delete, actually, let's undo that. And let's just make it solid blocks. Here, if you could see it now, it's literally just a few blocks attached together in the shape of the cockpit when it's pushed forward. So you basically build this missing part of the cockpit a block up and toward the back of the aircraft. Make sure it's not attached to anything. And then you have a suspension which you have to set to 2.4, which is a block, which is about the length of which is about the height of a single block, but the 0.4 makes it so it's not pressing so hard against this, and the friction prevents it from moving. And then there's a piston which I set to 2.5 because that's about a block again for when you push it forward, and I have it as toggle so you don't have to hold down a button to keep the canopy closed. This is going to be really short. So let's say this is your cockpit, this is your front window, control panel, and your main pilot seat. This is mainly for World War II planes. So you would want a piston. I don't know where to look. 3 with a 2 block space between your seat and your piston. Then you would want a suspension block. This could be any keybind, but I like to use Z because you can't accidentally press it. Distance 2.5 for the suspension. 2.4 and maximum stiffness 0 damping. You want to make sure that the piston is attached. And let's say that I have the cockpit sticking back 1 block. Like that. And then I don't want to half wedge down. So let's say I have it sticking back that much. But if you want the cockpit, let's say out, to get out, it has to be equal with the open part has to be where the main pilot seat is. And then where this should be, where this block should be, move it back a block and up a bit. I have it too high, so I'm going to move everything back down a block. And you want to make sure the suspension or the piston gray part is not attached to anything. So I would use block 1 by 0.09. There. And then put another one there so it doesn't meet the ledge of the normal block, and then you put normal blocks for the rest. And then for here, this could be a little troublesome, so what I would do is, I'm assuming you're gonna have a 3x3 block if it's a World War II aircraft, usually a fighter. So what you should do here is put a half block there, and then put normal blocks coming up behind the piston. Oh gosh. There we go, it goes all the way forward and all the way back. I'm gonna reduce this down to just 2 and see how large that is. So make it like 2.1 instead of 2.4. That'll work better. Then you want to put a block, then half wedge down. Well, whatever block matches with your cockpit. Again, 1 block back, and then 1 block back in each direction. So when it goes down, press whatever button you have set with toggle, and it'll close your canopy just like that. I would put half triangle wedges there. So let's say I'll just put a wedge 1 by 2. You want to have it 1 block above so you could have like the back of your canopy, and then you would want a half triangle wedge. Again, this is all depending on how you shape your cockpit. Then I'll make this glass. And make the front of your plane. Just to represent it a bit more. So there, this is what it looks like from the side of your plane. Again, assuming it's a World War II aircraft. Then you would want to use half wedge 2, that's what I use for the side, because it doesn't make contact with the piston or suspension, and it lines up with the canopy. So let's say that this is your new aircraft. kind of like my P35. The suspension will bring this down, and the piston will push it forward and back. Just put a half block up there to make it look better. And you could do the same here. Oop. See, there's a problem. That wedge is caught on the suspension. So block 1 by 0.09, because that won't make contact with the suspension or this half block. And then you'd want to wedge 1 by 2 there. And once you're past the canopy, you can go back to normal wedges. So let's say that this is the front of your plane. Oh wait, yeah, that half block is now blocking it. Okay, this ain't working out. Okay, there we go. So that's in the back position. It actually lines up with the back quite nicely. It also lines up on the top. But the half block again is blocking it. So it's not, because mine has a half block on top and not on the same like that. Oh, actually I was pressing the wrong key, but this probably still won't work, but it might work. It's up to the game, not me. Yep, that won't work. If you have an aircraft with a canopy top made of metal, the color of the actual aircraft, then what I would do is I would use disconnectors, and then I would use disconnectors like that, and I would paint them the color of your aircraft. So when you spawn, disconnect them, and then just like that, it looks like the top of your plane. But again, this one in the back, you don't want that because it'll block it from opening. Well, that's a basic sliding canopy top for beginners to intermediate players. Also, this Seversky is a keybind aircraft, so you could do special maneuvers with it, but it's too slow to maintain speed while trying to do loops like that, so you'll stall. So let's say I've been shot at by, I don't know, something like a Japanese aircraft. So open the canopy, jump out, and then equip parachute, and then you could watch your plane go crash. Oop. And then your parachute will glitch again. Okay, so that's a pretty basic tutorial and demo of a sliding cockpit for an aircraft. This Seversky isn't my best quality aircraft, just letting you know. It's basically just to test sliding cockpits. But I'll see you next time.